All right. Hello, everyone. So Kirk Lewis actually is in the building, probably dealing with lots of Detroit's challenges right now. The water department just went on strike. So he's in the building, and he was instrumental to our success. So I'm here today to tell you about Code for America's Detroit team. So starting off with our team, we have our lovely city champion, Carla Henderson. She's a group executive for Mayor Bing's office. And then we also have the Code for America fellow team, myself, Alicia Rouault, Matt Hampel in the nice red tie, and Prashant Singh. So after spending about 5 weeks in Detroit in the middle of the winter, some common elements started to emerge, and we really realized that in order to shape our work and have the best possible outcomes, we needed to empower citizens and support the existing work on the ground. There are so many fantastic individuals, organizations, high-capacity institutions doing good work on the ground, and we realized that we really needed to empower them to continue to do that work. We also needed to help increase the capacity of those institutions. So while people are doing good work, they often lack resources, people, or money. So how could we build lightweight things to really let them keep going? And ultimately, we wanted to connect citizens to their government and connect government to their citizens. And so I'm going to pass this over to Carla. She's going to tell us a little bit what it was like from the City Hall's point of view.
Thank you. So the city of Detroit, we're 139 square miles. Our infrastructure is built for 2 million folks, and 2010 census came in a little over 700,000. And so we have a massive vacant property challenge. Close to 80,000 properties are vacant, and about 35,000 actually need to be demolished. So the mayor, under his leadership, has decided that we need to focus on core city services that actually will address the real reality of our fiscal crisis that we're facing right now in the city of Detroit. So why Detroit? I will tell you, the eyes of the world are on Detroit right now. We get thousands of letters from all over the world, people saying we should take this park and make it a vineyard, that we should take this blighted neighborhood and put a lake there. And so there's a lot of attention, so much so that we have a number of young, energetic people that are graduating from college that will pack up their car and show up on our doorsteps. That one of our local foundations, Hudson Weber, created a nonprofit called D-Hive just to be able to take that energy and channel it into a positive direction. So a good friend of mine, Phil Cooley, who owns a very popular restaurant called Slow's Barbecue in Detroit, approached me 2 years ago and said, "You should do Code for America, the city should do Code for America." And I said, absolutely not. I do not need another fellow program. I do not need to babysit some people coming to the city of Detroit. We're kind of up to here with all the help and all the people that want to come and save Detroit. And so he was adamant and relentless, and then I found out there was a match, so I said, we can't do it, we can't afford it. Rishi Jaitley from the Knight Foundation said, I'll write the check, and so I reluctantly decided that we would do it, and was never clear on what the impact was actually going to be. So, but knowing that we have this DIY spirit in the city of Detroit, lots of community groups are kind of just getting it done without waiting on city government to get our act together. And so the mayor has always said we're here to support those activities, but sometimes it's our job just to kind of look the other way and let groups do what they need to do. We have, like I said, the Knight Foundation under Rishi's leadership, critical. We have lots of foundations that have filled the void that we cannot afford certain projects. And then we have this huge, because of the auto industry resurgent, Ford and GM are hiring a lot of people for the tech jobs. So I'm going to turn it over to Prashant. I like to call these guys my Codies. So Prashant, take it away.
Thanks, Carla. So we were in Detroit in February, and you know it's cold and it's snowing. We are out late. And we encounter this young woman waiting at a bus stop. She's waiting alone in the cold, and so we talked to her. And, you know, she's nervous about her job because she is often late because she can't catch the bus on time. And so she's worried about getting fired from her job. She's worried about getting home at a reasonable hour. She has to add all this wait time onto her commute. And there's just a lot of uncertainty, and it's a very common story. And there are safety issues and all of that. And so we thought, okay, well, what can we do about this? Is there some way we can add some certainty to people's lives there? And so we did two things. We bridged into the city's live tracking data for the buses, and we were able to expose this in a way that developers in Detroit can use this, and they can build interesting and useful apps on top of this that then benefit their neighbors and other Detroiters. And then we acted as one of those developers, and we said, okay, well, we want to reach as many people as possible, as soon as possible, because an API doesn't help this woman waiting at the bus stop. So we built a text messaging service, which the city is calling Text My Bus. And this lets almost everyone in Detroit who rides the bus text in, and this is a very kind of pervasive capability. And now they can find out when the bus is coming to their bus stop, and they can have some certainty. And thanks to Carla as our champion, we were able to launch this about a month ago. And we had 1,400 users on launch day, and there's some numbers that made us feel kind of warm and fuzzy inside. But the really cool thing, this was the first day of school, and at 7 a.m. we had these high school kids out there texting in, figuring out when their bus is going to show up. And these kids depend on the bus, and they're out there on their own in the morning. No one's looking out for them at that point. And so if we can provide them some certainty, and the police chief and folks from the federal government, the White House were out here because everyone really believed in the way the city was trying to help its citizens. And thanks to Carla's work with the federal government, we also have funding to make sure that this is going to continue, and this isn't just going to drop on the ground when Code for America ends its fellowship program in Detroit. And now I'll let Matt talk to you about other ways that we're using data to help engage the community in Detroit.
Yeah, absolutely. So one thing that not a lot of people know about Detroit is that we have an amazing tech community. There are a ton of jobs and a really excited group of people there. So if you ever want to leave San Francisco rents behind and work with an amazing group of people, you should check out Detroit. But so we really wanted to energize this community around city data, around the tools we were building, and around this bus data. So we launched the Apps for Detroit Challenge. We didn't want it to be just developers, so we also brought in city challenges from the city, challenges from local nonprofits and others, and asked developers to address these in a 2-week challenge. And the city actually, for the first time, opened up 6 data sets for this. So we're really excited about this. In 2 weeks, we got about 15 apps out of this, some of these using our real-time bus data, including what's really awesome is someone built a solar-powered kiosk for just a little over $200. And I'd also like to acknowledge Mike, who at this event stepped forward as the Detroit Brigade captain and is doing an amazing job getting things running there. So can we give Mike a huge hand? Yeah, there he is in the back. Say hi to Mike. So I'm going to turn it over to Alicia to talk about another one of our projects that we've used as a community engagement tool in Detroit.
Great, thanks, Matt. All right, so next up is our third project, local data. So one of the things that we noticed on the ground in Detroit was that technical assistance providers, data analysts, and community groups were all going out and they were involved in this big process of collecting place-based data. And the way that they were doing it was sometimes cumbersome. It was involving volunteers going out in the city, collecting information about individual properties with pen and paper and clipboards. So nonprofits and governments have difficulty using this data because it's often kept in inconsistent formats and Excel sheets. The technical expert will have to literally manually transcribe information from pieces of paper. So we asked ourselves, how can we hack this process, like Dave Eves likes to say? And how can we empower the residents that are already collecting that data to really know how to use it? And so if you check out our website, golocaldata.com, you can learn more about the tool. But to briefly describe it, it's a digital toolkit for place-based data collection and management. And what this involves is a mobile collection tool. So you can go out with your smartphone or a tablet out in the field. You have a map interface and then a list of drop-down questions that you can answer. And each survey that we put into this tool is customized for individual survey needs. We also really care about accessibility, and so we've created a paper-based version of this. And this was a need that we saw from residents in Detroit who maybe were uncomfortable with smartphones or just preferred using pen and paper. And so we made the same version of this on paper, but with optical recognition marks, fill in the blank, kind of like Scantron. And so the data from the paper form goes straight into the same digital database in your browser, and you can manage all your information in one place. So far, we've piloted this tool with 2 groups in Detroit. One did a massive commercial survey of commercial property concentration in Detroit. They did 9,000 parcels in just 6 weeks, which was really great. Vanguard CDC is a smaller organization, and they're currently surveying 1,000 residential homes for vacancy and other conditions. And we're so proud to announce that we are recently a winner of the Night News Challenge data round, and we're going to be able to keep local data going over the next year. So if you're sitting in the audience and you'd like to use local data as a test user, I'd urge you to please get in touch. So in terms of our takeaways, overall, we were connecting people to government. So we didn't just pass data from city government to people, we connected resident-built data to the government. We also empowered citizens. So residents can organize for change, they can get to school or work on time with Text My Bus, and now they have new channels of accessing that important information. And lastly, we supported the work of existing partners on the ground because the work people are doing in Detroit is so powerful, and we just tried to give them a way to amplify that. Carla's going to talk about sustainability.
So to wrap up, obviously, this is probably one of the most wonderful projects I have worked on in my career, and I'm so proud of the work that the fellows did. So what we did with Text My Bus is we are one of 6 cities selected by President Obama for Strong Cities, Strong Communities. And so 3 weeks prior to launching Text My Bus, the director, DDOT, sent an email and said, I still am not supporting this, we don't have the funding. So it was walking 2 doors down, talking to Portia Roberson, saying, hey, call FTA. They identified $2 million that the city had under a grant program that was funded in 2009 that will support Text My Bus, so that was incredible. The other thing that we did is we had the police chief out there. We were talking about safe routes to schools, how do we get kids to school? We are one of 6 cities that participates in the Department of Justice National Forum on Youth Violence Prevention, so we tied it to that. We had the kids from Cody High School taking the bus to the high school, and Eric Holder at his cabinet briefing last week talked about Text My Bus, Code for America, the Knight Foundation, and now Arnie Duncan wants to distribute this in other cities across the country. So we, of course, are very, very grateful.
All right, and just to wrap up, finally, if you want to connect more on any of these projects, I urge you to go check out our website, golocaldata.com. You can see Text My Bus in action at textmybus.com, or please check out the winners of Apps for Detroit at appsfordetroit.org. Thank you so much.
Thank you.